Today, we're going to be talking about my top 10 favorite knives in my collection. It's been some time since we did this. These are always fun. I enjoy watching other people, so maybe somebody will enjoy watching mine. Starting with, not this. This is the Spartan Blades Harsey. I like this a lot, but it is not one of my favorites. Number 10, the Spyderco Techno 2. Now, this knife is, if you were talking about my favorite fifth pocket knife, hands down one of my favorites. Dirty as shit. We can clean it while we're talking about it with some, that's not it. There we go. So this is easily my favorite fifth pocket knife and one of the most useful in my collection. It's easy to carry, it's snappy, it's fun, it's got this beautiful blade shape. This sheep's foot style blade shape on the Techno 2 is awesome, and guess what? It's made in Taichung, Taiwan and has XHP blade steel. If we haven't known anything other than, you know, the Rick Hidner hardnesses and the Wee hardnesses and everybody kind of screwing up their hardnesses, well, one person or group that doesn't, that is Spyderco. So I expect this XHP to be heat treated fairly well, and it's treated me very well up until this point. This thing is smooth for being on phosphor bronze, and it's just an awesome knife. One thing to note, if you're looking at getting the Spyderco Techno 2, it does have these green standoffs. They come standard, but it does not have this standard. It does come with a wire pocket clip, which sucks. You're going to need to change it out. I believe this is a Rips Garage Tech pocket clip that replaces the wire pocket clip. A million times better, makes this knife one of the best. Number 9 on this list, and it's a tie between my left-handed failure and the PM2. This is the PM3 or Para 3 and the PM2. Now, this is the PM2 in crewwear specifically, which I'll talk about that one day. I had to mod the living shit out of these liners in order to get them to fit in there. I did put a Rockscale Designs backspacer in there, which also takes the place of the lanyard tube. This is an REK pocket clip, which is on most of my Spydercos. Freaking love it. The PM2 is a knife that I absolutely love. The Para 3, on the other hand, was not until I got these Rockscale Design scales. In particular, the skinny mod. I've talked about it quite a bit. I don't need to talk about it much more. Once again, REK pocket clip, Rockscale Designs backspacer. This thing is awesome. And as you can tell, I'm having difficulty underneath here actually getting it to play right. This one is much better. So these two are tied for number 9 because I really can't tell you which one I like more. I like them both for their separate reasons, and they're both kind of the same knife, just one large, one small. Number 8 on the list is one that you know, has its ups and its downs, and it's dirty too. So we'll clean that while we'll talk about it. This is the Curtis Blades Skinny F3 Warncliffe, medium size. Yeah, it's a lot, right? Basically, all this is a titanium frame lock, which is milled out beyond belief on the inside, and pretty decent action on bearings with a MagnaCut blade. This is MagnaCut because I had it sent in, I had issues, and he just rebladed it for free. Part of the reason this is going to remain on my favorites is not because of the price, because this is coming in a wicked at $700. Is this worth $700? Probably not, but it's technically a custom, so you take that with a grain of salt. But it really is a good knife. Fits in your hand quite well, capable of doing a lot of different tasks. But the guy himself, I believe his name is David Curtis, is phenomenal. The customer service is immaculate and amazing. Immaculate being a word that doesn't quite fit there, but he's amazing. And that to me just weighs in so much. I have an EMP EDC Nimble X on the way, sheep's foot, that I would imagine would make this list if it was here, but it's not. And I love them for the same reasons. Fantastic customer service, great people, and that goes a long way for me. Number 7 on the list, and something I didn't think would make it down to number 7, I thought it would be higher, is my Manix II with the skinny Rockscale Design scales, and we got the REK pocket clip still. Guys, I know deep carry is cool, but stuff that makes it so much more sleek and slim just makes so much more sense. This is the skinny scales, and it is just amazing. The reason I'm surprised it's so low is I really love this knife. This could be the one and only. It just I don't know, I just have so many knives, it's hard to pick one, and I just don't typically pick this one. I have another Spyderco that's going to be on the list that surprised me that I like it more than this, but not quite so because it's pretty awesome. But this is coming in number 8, the Manix II with the skinny scales, and I believe it's actually number 7, not number 8. Forgot to mention this is in Rex 45. Part of the reason I love it is that it's kind of collectible in that, so that's another thing to add to number 7 or 8 or wherever we're at. Number 6 on this list is my Bugout in Flytanium. Flytanium changes the game for the Bugout. The Bugout is pretty much one of those knives that's, I don't know, a household name. People love it or hate it. I hated it until I threw the Flytanium scales on there. Once the Flytanium scales get on there, it's a totally new knife. This thing is pretty badass. This one in particular is in 20 CV. Maybe a little expensive for a Bugout when it's all said and done, but it really is a great slicer. It's a great EDC knife and probably one of the best quote-unquote EDC knives I have in my collection right now. The Bugout is okay. The Bugout and Flytanium scales, pretty badass. Number 5 on the list is my Chris Reeve Umnuzan. I actually love this knife. This thing is fantastic once you change out that awful, horrendous Chris Reeve pocket clip, which it's not awful on the Sebenza, but when it's on the Umnuzan, it's really bad. Reverse flicking this, I've actually done something that's hard to do in gloves, but you can reverse flick this one in particular. What I did is I just took some sandpaper, kind of scoured this button right here, or the thumb stud, I should say, and it created a little bit of friction, and what that does is that allows you to actually get on it and flick it, which, again, I'm having trouble doing it in the gloves, but with your skin it works quite fantastically. This really is a great EDC blade, and I've carried it quite a bit to work, and it's held its own. You know, through some thick and thin and some dirty situations. The Chris Reeve Umnuzan is hard to get, but it's a fantastic knife and my favorite from Chris Reeve. Number 4, one that made it to my list relatively recently, is the Andrew Demko 80-20.5. Now this one, I just did not want to jump on the hype train, but it's super fun, it's super fidgety, and it's one that, you know, once I threw these goat scales on there, these are aluminum scales, it does really change the way it feels. It doesn't feel cheap anymore. I don't know if I like the red or this pattern, but it feels really good. This is one that's going to contest the Bugout for one of the best EDCs in general. I think this thing ergonomically, carry factor, fidget factor rivals that of the Bugout all day, every day. And it's going to be hard for me to choose one or the other when it comes to awesome EDC and carryability. The 80-20.5 is pretty cool. If you guys haven't tried it, don't be like me and avoid the hype train. The hype's real. It's good. It's a pretty cool knife. Number 3 on the list is my Fein Malice. This is a grail knife of mine that I have hunted for so long. I broke the tip off of it. I kind of did a little shave job here, made it more of a clip point, reverse tanto, whatever the hell. Still a drop point, really. And this thing is just so large, so beefy, and the action is incredible. This is when I feel like, was doing some really good stuff. And of course, Fair and Forge with the Malice, you know, being their design, they knocked it out of the park. This thing's just sick. And I was kind of irritated at the button lock mini Malice that's supposed to be coming out, but you know, I'm gonna be a mark for it. I'm gonna try it out, and if it fits in my 5th pocket, it'll be kind of cool. Mini Malice and Malice, you know what I mean? Carrying both. Number 3 on the list is my Fein Malice. This will be forever in my collection. This is one of those few knives that I know will never go anywhere. Number 2 on the list is my TRM Atom, specifically with these titanium scales. I just picked up the titanium scales in their last drop, or I don't know, a drop a month and a half ago or so. And since then, it has really changed this knife for me. It went from being generic and just a good knife to being kind of something that's amazing. The action for being on washers is silly. The blade stock thickness is silly. The sliceability is silly. The feeling of these contoured titanium scales is amazing. And yeah, it's pretty cool. Is this better than the PM2? Some of the most prestigious people out there compare the TRM Atom to the PM2. And by most prestigious, I'm referring to Corey over there at the Practical Blade, who made a reference to both of these, calling them boring. They are both boring and great functional knives. I would disagree. Once you throw the titanium scales on there, it no longer is boring. It is pretty interesting and fun. That is my TRM Atom in titanium scales. The regular model does not make it to this list at all. Titanium scales on it, whoop, there it is. And a knife that, if I'm being honest with myself, I don't know would have made #1, but I've remembered how many times I carried it. I can't not make it #1. I carry this more than any other knife in my collection. That is my Spyderco Gayle Bradley II. These are carbonized scales, micarta, and then I once again have the rec pocket clip. You guys see a theme here. So the Gayle Bradley II is a knife that has so many inherent flaws. You know, it has a super light detent, which we may try to fix. You know, the liner right here is difficult to access. That's a little irritating, but it's such a user knife with this nice hollow grind, thin behind the edge, these neutral ergonomics, but you're getting this large knife. Guys, the Gayle Bradley II is such a freaking awesome, stunning knife. You can ask anybody that's not even a Spyderco fan if they've held the Gayle Bradley II, they're gonna tell you, yeah, that knife's pretty awesome. I don't think I've heard one person say that the Gayle Bradley II sucks. I don't think I've heard it. Jake over there at Ohio State, he does like Spyderco, but he doesn't get into these models that much. And you know what? He got a Gayle Bradley II on a good deal and fell in love with it. And he would agree with me. It's one of those knives that's just an awesome, fantastic piece. And you know, it's not doing any justice underneath the camera. It does not want to perform today. We do not want to flick it out, do we? But it's awesome. This is a fantastic freaking knife. That was a really ridiculously awful show by it, though. This does have M4 blade steel, which is really good, but in dirty environments, you want to use your EDCI and keep it clean, because what's going to happen is this is going to corrode on you. FYI, my Manix II and Rex 45, and that thing went through the washer on accident. And the Rex 45 is highly corrosive, apparently, because that's the only knife that I've really damaged the blade by letting it corrode. So I had to clean it up, and it's all good now. But you know, it's one of those things where you really got to take care of these things that you love and paid so much money for, because otherwise they're not going to take care of you when you get older and you're in a nursing home and you need someone to take care of you. Gayle Bradley II won't be there if you let it corrode. That's all I got for you guys. You guys stay sharp, stay safe, and have a great freaking rest of your day. Thanks for watching.